Game time.
Politics is a tough pill to swallow, but you know what's not a tough pill to swallow? Action movies starring Harrison Ford. So that's why we're talking about today's movie.
My favorite politician.
Me too. Honestly, if you watch Air Force One as many times as I have, you might have trouble imagining where Harrison Ford was not the president.
Yeah.
Because he's such a cool one. His name is President James Marshall, and he goes to Russia, and he's like, "We're going to be buddies now, but we're also going to punish terrorists." And then Gary Oldman, hijacks Air Force One. Oh no, who's going to solve the problem? The president.
Yeah, of all people. I imagine you have on the back of your vehicle a bumper sticker that says like Harrison Ford is my president.
Actually,
You
it
should.
says
should.
Jed Bartlett for America, but Question 1. So initially, director Wolfgang Peterson was denied access to the real life Air Force One. He really wanted to get the sense of it. He wanted to make sure his team could make a effective copy of Air Force One. Obviously, no one would let him do that. But what changed that? What changed it so he could? Was it A, Gary Oldman performed at the White House for President Clinton? B, a mysterious donation was made? C, Harrison Ford called personally to the White House? D, vice president in the movie, who is played by Glenn Close, called her friend Laura Dern.
Laura Dern question. I listened to enough of your episodes to understand that Laura Dern is the perpetual part of the quizzes here.
Well, she's my perpetual crush. So
That's fair. Valid point.
So what do you think it is, Jordan?
I feel like I'm just gonna say what I want it to be. Is that Harrison Ford called the White House and like begged them to let them do this. That gives like a whole new meaning to like your like PR interviews that you have to do for your film,
Well, I think that Harrison Ford is adored by President Clinton because that was indeed the case. Harrison Ford called the White House and be like, "I really need Wolfgang to be able to go on Air Force One."
This must have been before the military was like essentially bankrolling lots of films as like a thinly veiled recruiting tool.
Harrison Ford was not the first choice to play the president, even though he's the perfect movie president.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if he wasn't going to play the president, who would? Here are your 4 options. Was it A,
Laura Dern.
I was waiting for you. No, Laura Dern is always D, so you're gonna have to wait.
Got it.
So
The Dern,
D for Dern.
Yeah,
D for Dern. Was it A, Kevin Spacey? Was it B, Kevin Costner? Was it C, Glenn Close, and she got demoted to vice president? Or was it D, indeed, Laura Dern?
Yeah, one of these days the answer will be Laura Dern.
One of them. I look forward to that day because I did my research on her.
I have to say, just from like House of Cards fame, and before we all realized he was a creep, but back when he seemed like on-screen presidential material, I feel like it could have been Spacey.
Is that your final answer?
I don't know. You give me the eyes like it shouldn't be. Costner was one of the answers.
Yes, Costner was one of the answers.
Mathematics says if we get a second chance, pick the other door to increase our total probability of success. So I'm gonna go with Costner now.
And you'd be correct.
Oh,
Yes.
Math wins again.
Math always
So-
wins.
Jordan, congratulations. You are correct. Kevin Costner denied the role so he could do the movie The Postman.
Come on, man.
So, but I mean, come on. I mean, we got the perfect movie at it. So, The Postman. Thank you, Kevin Costner, for making that, so we could have Harrison Ford as the president. Very cool.
I guess thank you for letting the true president step in.
Thank you for declining to run. So to say.
Stepping down with dignity.
So we have one last question for you. However, you have to get this one right. This is your double jeopardy.
Uh-oh.
Remember, you have to maintain 100% approval rating to stay on this program, or me and Julia are going to make our own political ad against you in the second portion of this.
We got 3 people here. I can split the vote. The most I need is 31% approval to win the office. Thank you very much.
No, that's to maintain your
yourself.
base.
No.
Maintain the base. Yeah, we're activating the base.
Yeah.
I have a mandate from the people.
Gary Oldman had a nickname on set because his performance was so intense that they gave him this nickname? Was it A, Spooky Gary? Was it B, Scary Gary? Was it C, No Russia Gary?
Spooky Gary sounds like the name Hunter gave him.
Yes, it does. And I think we should just add another dollar to the jar.
Yeah,
just
dollar in the jar.
just because we're in
No, we're not
production.
on set.
We're not on set. So if I say spooky, I can say spooky freely without having to donate to charity. Though I
Yeah.
will happily donate to charity every time I say spooky. And we'll have to establish that as a rule. If I say spooky, I do have to donate to charity. That's been an established rule on set, because if I don't, I do this little thing where I have the fake cigarette and I go, "That was real spooky, kid." Anyway, so that's why I have to give $1 in the jar. Also, when I curse a lot on set.
Yes, you do. Even
enough.
with kids around.
No, I don't, because I have to put $1 in the jar. There's a financial incentive for me not to. Anyway,
So
Jordan.
anyways, enough about Homecoming.
I think honestly, like having been on enough sets, the like collective hallucination fever dream where like the dumbest things become funny because everyone's like sleepless and whatever. It just feels like Scary Gary would be totally the thing people would say on set, and they'd be like, "Ah, here comes Scary Gary." That just feels like a set thing.
Yeah.
Well,
it does.
Jordan, you've done what no other politician has managed to do. You have garnered 100% of approval. Congratulations, sir. You will be on your way to Air Force One right now. But until then,
Dictatorial numbers over here.
you and Lukashenko share a certain privilege of being
My
universally
spirit
approved.
animal.
Who is your spirit animal? All wide, well, Belarusian dictator Alexander Lukashenko. Anyway.